killing enough of them?
We're killing a lot of them, and we're going to keep killing more of them. So are the Egyptians, so are the Jordanians. They're in this fight with us. But we cannot win this war by killing them. We cannot kill our way out of this war. We need, in the longer term, medium and longer term, to go after the root causes that leads people to join these groups, whether it's lack of opportunity for jobs.
Well, we're not going to be able to stop that in our lifetime or 50 lifetimes. There's always going to be poor people. There's always going to be poor Muslims. And as long as there are poor Muslims, the trumpet's blowing. They'll join. We can't stop that.
I would suspect Congressman Stephen King, Republican from the great state of Iowa, member of the House Judiciary Subcommittee on Immigration and Border Security. Welcome aboard, sir. I would suspect you agree with Chris Matthews like I do.
Well, it depends on what he might say.
Well,
it isn't often that he compliments me.
Yeah, well, no, but he just, he was the one weighing in against Maria Harf, saying, you can't solve the problem like that. There's always going to be poor Muslims. You know, this will take 50 years, 100 years. I mean, when you hear the State Department spokesperson utter those words, and they come from the president, let's make no mistake about it, and you understand that today Maria Harf on Morning Joe said, it's not just Muslim groups. It's, she said, why isn't anybody talking about the Lord's Resistance Army? They were formed in 1987 in Uganda, and I did a search, and I can't find any atrocities they committed in over 7 to 10 years. So maybe that's why no one's talking about them. But this attempt to make it, oh, it's not just Muslims, it's everybody, and we can't beat them by killing them. What do you make of all that?
Well, you know, the administration, first, they've got a pretty good and expensive research team to be able to go to try and name some organization that they can associate with and channel them rather than the enemies that we truly have. I mean, her idea that we needed to bring jobs to Syria or jobs to Mosul so that ISIS would stop killing us, but that is just a horrifying reach of an administration. She speaks for the president. The president spoke for himself. I was at the prayer breakfast when he brought crusaders into this.
Yep.
And tried to guilt all Christians on the planet for something that took place 800 years ago, which was a defensive war that was brought about because they'd been attacked by radical Islam over and over again coming out of the Holy Land. And and I thought the president would find a way to tie that together and make it all right. I was looking at the exits, calculating how far it was for me to walk out.
Congressman, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just one little thing, Steve,
yeah.
is and it's not very many days after that, the 21 Coptic Christians are marched down to the shores in Libya and beheaded there. And the poster that gets put up by ISIS that did this is, this is what happens to Coptic crusaders.
Yes, and Congressman, in the days before the president's remarks, when they released the video of the pilot burning, that video also contained references to the Crusades. So first it was that, then it was the president, then it was the Copts that you refer to. So it seems like the rhetoric is they're feeding off one another. But I want to get to this. There were reports today, top U.S. counterterrorism officials are fearful that ISIS members, terrorists, could be coming into this country with the Syrian refugees that apparently we're now letting into this country because of the war in that region.
Well, we need to be on top of that as much as we can. The president just appears to have no fear of the consequences of doing stupid things. And, you mentioned the piece about the pilot from Jordan. He is a Sunni Muslim. Burned to death by Sunni Muslims, and that somehow ties that in, and they reference that as crusaders. But the tens of thousands of Syrians that appear to be being brought into this country, you're not going to get Syria fixed if you take the people out of there that need to be the ones doing the work to fix it. And there's no way to avoid through that network of getting ISIS members and terrorists and future terrorists brought into America. That's like creating a hole and bringing people through it. And this administration, if history is any guide, they didn't want us to know where the unaccompanied alien juveniles were going,
right,
that they were expediting into America to all 50 states. They don't want us to know where the Syrian quasi-refugees are going to be going. Somehow he seems to believe that he can pour people into America here that we know are the sources of death and violence, and that it's not going to be brought to America. It is appalling, and he's going around Congress, and he's not being open with us. When his witnesses that come before Congress, cabinet members, for years now, have been evasive in their testimony. They have run out the clock. I have not seen one come before any of the committees that I sit on with the attitude that they're trying to inform Congress and work with Congress. Has always been the attitude of run out the clock, filibuster the committee, get through the event. And I am very frustrated with this administration. And of course, a lot of Americans are dealing with tomorrow. It's going to be a long 2 years, Steve.
Yep. All right, Congressman. Thank you very much. Always good to talk to you, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Congressman Steve King. And folks, up next, the chief economist for the Heritage Foundation and former senior economist at the Wall Street Journal, Stephen Moore. And we'll talk about the GOP's plans on DHS funding and more. Don't go away.